यत्कृपातमकं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः।
ॐ नारायणः परो व्यक्तात् अण्डमव्ययसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We will chant the group of verses, I think from 31 to 37 or something, and then continue with our discussion from verse 34, 35, somewhere wherever we are. Okay. So from verse 31. स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याद्धियुद्धाच्छ्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतं सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामन्न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य चाकीर्तिः मरणादपि रिच्यते भयाद्रणादुपरतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम् अवाच्यवादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरन्नु किम् हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः सुखदुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जयाजयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापमवाप्स्यसि. So we are in the middle of the discussion on Swadharma. So having talked about the Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means the vision of the Upanishads, and for that matter, the vision of the Bhagavad Gita also, which is like an Upanishad. So the vision of Vedanta, having talked about the vision of Vedanta and having talked about how the I is free from sorrow, from all afflictions, and it is neither the doer nor is it done in by other people's doing. Having given all that in detail, and seeing that Arjuna was not convinced. Why was he not convinced? He was not there. He was not there at all. It's like, it's like a 2-year-old balloon got burst, literally, okay, not figuratively. So the child was going around with a little balloon, and then maybe, it caught in a thorn or something and it burst. And that big noise not only scared the child, but then it started to mourn the loss of the balloon. And then they started to cry. So at this time, what should the parents do? The parents should, say, yeah, we'll get you another one. Don't worry, because it's not, at this point in life, you cannot reason with the child. And but if let's say the parents are Vedantins and eager to give the knowledge to the child, so they straddle the child, put the child on the lap, and then say, what goes up must come down, everything is finite in the universe, and you are just lamenting this balloon, grow up. This is not, the child will not even fathom that. Right now it just wants to be comforted. It's okay, you're fine. Don't worry. Next time, I'm going to get you 2 balloons. That's all the child wants to know. It doesn't want any kind of highfalutin philosophy. And who is the child here? Arjuna. Arjuna, because he's not there. He's not there because that part of him, the ungrown part of him, the part of him that is not ready to listen to the Gita, the part of him that just wants to be comforted, the part of him that just wants attention and that just wants validation. You are okay, you are okay, you are okay. And even if you're not okay right now, I'm going to give you a recipe to tell you how to be okay. And so, therefore, Lord Krishna has to come down a notch or two and then address the problem from the standpoint of duty. Still, it is abstract because duty is nothing to do with one's own, what is that called? One's own lament, and he's not allowing Arjuna to wallow in that sorrow, wallow in self pity of this dharma sankata and feeling sorry for Duryodhana and the likes of them. He's not allowing that. So he is taking a kind of an empirical stance from the Paramarthika. We are now at the level of the Vyavaharika Satta, where the intervention is being made very, very effectively. And where is this intervention being made? The intervention is being made on the level of duty, which Arjuna more than anybody else understands. Being a warrior, and he takes the responsibility and duty very, 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 very much seriously. And so he understands the duty, he understands responsibility. So this is a tack to still bring him out of the subjectivity. The level of comfort is not, comfort is not what is being given here. What is being given here is an encouragement. So Lord Krishna is not entering Arjuna's mind here from the standpoint of the emotions and the pratibhasika satta. Pratibhasika satta means what? The subjective, his own subjective reality. We are still at the level of the objective, but objective as it pertains to his duty, his contribution in life, and all that. So that is where the intervention is being made in these verses, as we saw. Very beautiful set of verses. And then, and then he warms up. Lord Krishna is warming up here in verse 34, which we saw last time, that you will get a lot of Akirti. What is Kirti? Kirti is very easy to understand. Kirti means fame. And that's what the warriors like. And that's what the warriors live for. They live for fame. They live for a certain kind of a satisfaction of having done their best. And people are saying, thank you for saving me from these tyrants. Everybody wants validation. And this one is, this Arjuna is no exception. So, but Lord Krishna says that, okay, if you do your duty, there are certain things that you will get. But if you do not do your duty, there are consequences. And like I said last time, how can non-action have a consequence? Action can have result, yes. But how can non-action have a consequence? For 2 reasons. Well, non-action is also based on free will, correct? You choose not to do something. And then if you are choosing not to do A, that means you are choosing to do B. which is refrain from fighting the war. That is also a kind of an indirect action which will accrue results and which does accrue results. First thing, first reason. And the second reason that we discussed last time briefly was this very strange thing called pratyavaya dosha. What is this pratyavaya dosha? And there is a dharma shastra saying, what is that? Akarane pratyavaya. Akarane means in not doing you get this papa. What is this papa of not doing? So there is a papa of not doing, yes, because how else can the Veda make you do your nitya karma? There is, there is the papa of not doing, and that again is divided into drishtaphala and adrishtaphala. Immediately experienced results and results that are in abeyance for the next life. So, like certain things, if you which you are supposed to do, if you don't do, certain things you immediately feel the effects of not doing. Like if you go around without brushing your teeth for a few days, immediately you feel the effect. How? Because nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants to be your friend. So this is drishtaphalam. And adrishta is also there. And what is the adrishta? The adrishta is that you're causing disturbance in the society. Everybody has to go out of the way to not be around you because you haven't taken a shower, you haven't brushed your teeth, all these things, and so you're causing disturbance in the society. So therefore you will attract the long term result adrishta phala, which is to be fructified here or in the hereafter. Same thing with Nitya Karma in the form of this is Laukika Nitya Karma. But if you have Vaidika Nitya Karma, religious duties like puja and all these things, whatever you are supposed to do, if you don't do, you will attract Pratyavaya fallacy, which is a papa. So this, even in Swadharma, there is some kind of a Pratyavaya, we saw that. And so it will attract, you hitva papam abapsyasi, he was told, you will get papa. And then what further? Akirtim chapi bhutani, you will get akirti. And then this akirti, this what is that? This loss of fame, etc. What will happen to that? You will feel after this gaining this infamy, I wish I were dead. That is what you will feel. You will feel that death was better. So now, verse number 35. Bhayad ranad uparatam mamsyante tvam maharathaha. Maharathaha mamsyante. What is mamsyante? They will think. Mamsyante, they will think, they will imagine, they will they will conclude. Yeah, that's a better way to translate it. Mamsyante, they will come to the conclusion. And what is the conclusion they will come to? Who are the who will come to the conclusion? Maharathaha. Mahan Rathaha Yesham Te, Desha. So for whom there are huge chariots, and Mahantaha. So huge chariots, big chariots, all with, embossed in gold, with what is that called? With the seal of arms, coat of arms of all these kings, and the kingdom's logo on the side of the chariot, drawn by horses that are just all shining, just rubbed down and all in ship shape. They can run, they can fly, they can leap, these kinds of things. And huge, so Maharatha means those who have these kinds of chariots, and think of their egos and think of how proud warriors see these people are, huge kings, big kingdoms. And all these people, what will they consider? They will not think, oh, Arjuna is so nice, so sweet of him to just teach us a lesson in in peace. So sweet of him, so nice of him. And in fact, we should erect a monument, and we should tell, even while he's alive, and we should tell every single child in the kingdom, be like Arjuna. Don't go for violence. Be a pacifist. This is what Arjuna is imagining, that he's doing a favor by leaving the battle. He's not leaving the battle out of fear. He's leaving the battle out of a misjudged sense of connection there with himself and all these baddies, the Kauravas. You know, one derivation of the word Kaurava, Kauhu iti Ravaha Yeshamte. So, meaning the people who, Rava means noise, cacophony. So, the people who keep shouting and screaming and yelling cow, cow, cow like crows. And so, those are Kauravas. One such derivation I read somewhere. Long ago, when I was in high school, actually, so very, very long ago. So then so long time back, somebody had written it somewhere. I read that. And so these Kauravas, who are all just these chaotic beings, full of cacophony and full of all kinds of things, and so these noisy and adharmic beings. And here, these people are not going to conclude that you, out of compassion for these Kauravas, misguided maybe, but nonetheless, out of compassion for the Kauravas, you have departed the battlefield. You are a great person, like who was that king? Ashoka. After the Kalinga battlefield, he had a total change of heart, and even now we laud him for not creating bloodshed. He embraced the Buddhism and did a lot to spread the tenet of ahimsa, non-violence. Sent his children to as far as Sri Lanka and all these Thailand, Singapore, everywhere, and to spread the message of no war. And we honor him because he had carved out a chakra, which on the spokes of the wheel were certain edicts about ahimsa. And so we honor him by putting that chakra on our flag. That is, this is what we do. So if so it's not surprising that even though Arjuna would not have read about Ashoka naturally, why the book was still being printed. Okay, yeah, that's why. And so then, so even though he wouldn't have read about Ashoka, he would still have this kind of a fantasy that, like some king, like a great king, like a great commander in chief, who did something that was not anticipated really, and then this would also be a ticket to his glory, both on the level of the earth. Mother Earth would welcome him, and all the people living on Mother Earth would welcome him. And after death also, Indra would welcome him to heaven because he has been such a wonderful, exemplary person for illustrating non-violence, for showcasing non-violence. But we forget that there is one big difference between Ashoka and who? Arjuna. The similarity is that both of them were sick of the war. Similarity also, both of their names start with A. That's where the similarity ends. Ashoka did not run away from the battle. Ashoka finished the battle. And after he finished the battle, he toured the bloody battlefield full of blood. It was just a river of blood. And he saw the stakes, he saw that, and he sat there to lament. That's a different thing. After the battlefield, after doing your duty, you say, okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do this anymore. I've had a change of heart. That's a different thing than running away in the middle of it. This is a very, very big difference. And so therefore, the accolades that he was perhaps fantasizing, or he was thinking that he was not doing anything wrong, those accolades will not accrue to him. Nobody will praise him. And there is only one reason why nobody will praise him, and that reason is called Duryodhana. So, what is this Duryodhana? Duryodhana would, see, after this fellow ran away from the battlefield, who Arjuna, after he runs away from the battlefield, and all the people who are looking up to him, who are the people looking up to him? This his own brothers, etc., etc. They are all looking up to him, and all of them will start running away. Dharmaraja, who is Dharmaraja? Yudhishthira, will run away. The eldest brother will also run away because my brother is running away. Oh my God. Arjuna running away is a big event. It's not a small event. Someone known for their valor and who is a leader, even among his own family. And so Arjuna is running away. Oh my God, what happened? I'll also run. And all of them run. And if all of them run, then the whole army will just, go for pizza. That's what they'll do, because what else is left to do? Oh, no battle, holiday, finished. And so this is obviously, Lord Krishna thinks that this Arjuna has not understood the gravity of the situation. So if all of them run away, then the field is empty for Duryodhana first to declare a victory. Victory is mine. First, he will say, he will plant the Kaurava flag. And he had already illegally planted it, but now he gets a kind of a justification to plant it even deeper down further and continue his tyranny, his reign of tyranny over the kingdom. He has every reason to do that. And not only that, he has to win over the hearts of the people, which is impossible for a tyrant. They are charismatic, but then their charisma is based on fear. So they rule people because of fear. These narcissistic, charismatic types of people. They rule people because of fear, not because of anything else. Not because of anything else. They rule people because, they look charming. And of course, people want to be part of that charm, and they want a little appreciation, they want validation, they want attention. All that is there. But what do? They just completely, they just completely rule by negative examples. So you see, you are not yet, raising your voice over anything. But you see somebody else raising their voice, and you see that after a while you don't see them at all. What happened? Where did they go? Oh, they relocated. Where? To moon. Apparently now they have found out, it's very exciting, that the moon has very hospitable temperature in the guhas. The moon has caves just like Earth. And in the caves of the moon, it's like California weather, always 63 degrees, Northern California weather. So now there are plans to go there and establish, so they have this International Space Station, they've had it for a long time. So now perhaps they can relocate this, to the moon and have a little bubble. Of course, oxygen, all that is needed. But then those are all small things, but the astronomers can go there and have a little, what should I say, stability, and then they can observe things not only about the moon, but from the standpoint of the moon, observe other asteroids, heavenly bodies, planets, etc., etc. So like this, so supposing you just say that, okay, so somebody coming from moon or going to moon like this. In our example, for Arjuna to be running away will be immediately capitalized by Duryodhana. He ran away as far as the moon. Why? Because he was frightened. He was afraid. He was terrified. That is what it is. He was terrified. And so this is how dictators reign. Dictators reign by removing physically any, semblance of threat. So dispatch somebody somewhere and say, oh, they just relocated because they didn't like it here or something. I don't know. I also told them to stay. But actually, the people would have relocated what? 6 feet under. They would have been made to relocate. That is what it is. They would have just been killed off. And then when more and more people start to disappear, the full extent of this charisma becomes very clear. It's a fear driven way of ruling, it's a fear driven way of being, eliminating competition, eliminating any kind of protest, eliminating any dissent whatsoever. This is the way of the dictators, and this was the way of Duryodhana. This was his lifestyle. And so, after Arjuna and et al. Leave the battlefield, he will still want to, in a way, quote unquote, win the hearts of the people. And so, what do these charismatic, narcissistic types do? They they have a certain story, their own made-up story, which is not true and which flies against the face of what we know to be true. But still, if you hear falsehood frequently enough, you know what happens? It sounds true. It starts looking to be true. And this is what is called, in psychological parlance, this is called gaslighting. Gaslighting, it comes from some movie made in the 20s where this man was questioning he wanted to declare his wife insane. And he started off by questioning her sanity. He would just change the places wherever she put things and then make her think that she is forgetting and she is losing her mind. And the term gaslighting has come from him. They were using gas lights in those days. And so he would turn down and dim all the lights. After she had turned it on, he would go back when she was not looking and dim all of them. And then she would say, oh my God, everything is flickering. What happened? Who dimmed the lights? Honey, I was upstairs. What do I know? I think, let me give you a hug. I think you're really going through some psychological problems. We should take you to the best of the doctors and we should wonder what's happening because every night this is happening. How can you forget? And why do you keep on dimming the lights when you don't, when we need the lights? And actually, he would have dimmed them. But then he is making it look like he's putting a spin on it to question her sanity so much that she starts to question it herself because of her trust in him. She starts questioning it herself. And then, I think, I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, but perhaps the motive here was to declare her insane and perhaps she had a lot of property so that he could get the property. Maybe that was the motive. I don't know. I don't see any other reason why anybody would do something so cruel. But these dictators are like that. This was just a small domestic example. But here, this fellow is reigning over the kingdom illegally. So he is also going to gaslight the praja. Praja means the subjects. So how is he going to gaslight the praja? He is going to say, no pacifist or anything. Arjuna is a coward. He's going to give a different spin. Why? Because everybody loves Arjuna. Everybody loves the honesty of Yudhishthira, the humor of Bhima, the valor of Arjuna, and the the devoutness, the devotedness of Nakula and Sahadeva. Sahadeva was also very dharmic. Dharma of Sahadeva. Sahadeva was a very dharmic person, a great astrologer, amazingly great astrologer. So much so that Duryodhana goes to him. Surprise, surprise. Duryodhana goes to him, shows his horoscope, because what else can it be? So shows his horoscope to this Sahadeva, the brother of Arjuna, one of the brothers of Arjuna, and says, what is the time I can start the battle so that I will be victorious? And Sahadeva tells the truth. If you start the battle at this muhurta, this particular time of auspicious time, then you will be victorious, no problem. You will be victorious. But then, of course, Lord Krishna, in the form of Duryodhana's karma, intervenes, and then just by a few seconds, he is not able to start the battlefield. He's not able to start the war. So all these are all just wonderful people. The people's hearts are the subjects' hearts are with them. And they are waiting for this battle. They are waiting for justice to reign again, to be restored. They are sick of being tyrannized. They are sick of living in fear. Duryodhana is coming, Duryodhana is coming. Every child is raised like this, You drink your milk, otherwise Duryodhana is coming. And, this is how every child is raised. And they are all worried because these people used to ransack the village and take all the wealth from there. All the ransack the principalities and villages and everything. So everybody the women were not safe, the men were worried, everybody was just, covering under fear, and they were waiting for this battlefield. They were waiting for the Kurukshetra battle. They were cheering, they were rooting, they were praying that something will happen to turn this around so that the righteous side wins. Finally, Dharma wins. Oh Lord, where are you? We can't even ask. You are right there, but you are helpless to stop this. May your blessings be upon this war, please. May the righteous side win. They are praying. And then suddenly they get an SMS. What? Uparatam. Arjuna has fled the battlefield. They don't know what to make of it. They are still ready to give Arjuna the benefit of doubt. They are still ready to say, perhaps there is a greater good to this. Perhaps he did it out of a sense of something that we still have to fathom. He didn't do it to spite us. He didn't do it to make us, to consign us to this kind of a rule. Perhaps he will come back, or perhaps there is some other reason. Oh, I know. They might be thinking, this might be the rumor among the people. Oh, I know. Perhaps they have secured the kingdom without needing to fight. Oh, how wonderful that would be. No bloodshed. And they have already somehow surreptitiously attacked them and secured the kingdom. So that's why the battle has been called off. So like this, the Praja is thinking, because the Praja is on the side of the what is correct, on the side of the Dharma, on the side of the Pandavas. But then Duryodhana will not let this rest, because he already has a sense of insecurity centered on himself, and he is always feeling that nobody loves me. And then, so therefore, in order to first ingratiate himself to the subjects A and B, that cannot be done without completely abusing the Arjuna and company. That's how you can do. Because if you are so much detested by the people, how to become an object of love when you are so much detested by the people? There is only one way. What is that? You make them detest somebody else more. That's all. Psychology. Duryodhana was very, very adept at psychology. All these kind of tyrant dictator types are. They are able to read people very well. And they're able to use the other people's gullibility and trust to manipulate that trust to their own advantage, to exploit their Shraddha. And this is exactly what Lord Krishna anticipates. And Lord Krishna says, this is what he's going to do. Don't think that Duryodhana is going to have a little party and then invite people over and just, be reveling with himself and his friends. No. First, he is going to send another SMS. Coward, he ran away because I stood in front of him. He's going to do that. It's going to go viral. He's going to trend on all the social media sites. And he will even put a photoshopped picture on Instagram. Arjuna running away. And he will put himself there and, shooting an arrow or something like that. Or twirling his mustache. And Arjuna running away. He'll put a doctored photo. And then a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so everybody will believe him and not you. And how can they believe you? You are not even there to stand your ground. You have gone to Rishikesh or wherever you want to go and sit with your begging bowl and say Bhikshan Dehi. So you are already gone. You're not even there to find out what happened. You much less stand your ground and defend yourself. What a waste of a life if this is what it's going to come to. Not only are the people, the subjects, totally disappointed in you, oh Arjuna, but what? But you are not even so sad that the greatest of warriors who could defend the whole country is in a situation where he cannot even defend himself. And if Arjuna says, no, I'll send another tweet, it will be okay. What tweet will you send? you know, how will you tweet? What are you going to tweet? You'll only be hearing the Himalayan birds go tweet, tweet. That's the only tweet you will be able to connect to. That's all. First of all, there is no network over there. And then secondly, what are you going to send? Even if you send something, it's not going to have the effect of somebody right there defending their name and abusing yours. They are right there. They have the means of communication. They have the power. You are powerless because you chose to leave everything. You don't even, at least before, you had the status of being in the opposition. Now even that is not there. Yeah, because even if you're in the opposition, some people are little bit you have some power because you stand as a check and balance, and then you have some clout. Here bye bye Gandiva. Gandiva is his bow. Bye bye this. Bye bye Ratha. Bye bye chariot. Bye bye bow. Bye bye arrow. And then I'll just go sit and sing bhajans. You should have done that before the war. If you were so fond of singing bhajans, you should have, bought a pair of those, whatever those ding ding things, and then you should have just sung bhajans then. Then everybody would have appreciated you. Or you should have finished the war and then gone to Rishikesh and sung bhajans or whatever and given your spiel on non-violence. Then also people would have appreciated. But this is betwixt and between. This is not a place of. This is not the way to go about it. And do you think that this Duryodhana is not going to exploit this situation and capitalize on his ability to seize the power, not only the physical power, the material power, but also the mental approval from the people? And sometimes what happens is that if one has been ruled by tyrants for a long time, you start out of fear for your own life, you start, you start praising the tyrant. We have seen this in history. Hail Hitler. If anybody did not do that, the head was decapitated. You had to go do this. We have seen this terrible thing in history. And so this is how the dictators rule. They don't rule through love. They don't rule through any kind of reasoning. This is how Arjuna will capitalize and exploit your running away. Don't think they're going to praise you. And then the subjects coming under this spell, they will have something like a Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome means you keep on praising the tyrant. You have a trauma bond with the tyrant. And what is this trauma bond? Even though they are traumatizing you, you are bonded to them because you don't know where else to go for your own safety, for your own survival. You are bonded to them. So you are having a relationship of a trauma bond with the tyrant, and not just one person. The all of the subjects, the whole kingdom is been beaten into submission, mentally, emotionally, physically. And what kind of a view they are going to have of you? And they will now, the mothers will tell their children, drink your milk, otherwise you will be like Arjuna. What a coward. Duryodhana will fade away. Why? Because they have to live with this. And whatever one has to live with, one cannot keep on making war with whatever one has to live with, especially in such dangerous situation. So somehow they will accept, so even though they don't want to, somehow they will be even more disenchanted and hopeless. But then their view of you will be just so negative. And the sad thing is, the person who could defend a kingdom, an entire kingdom, just by looking at the opposing army, he would send half of the battalion packing, is now in a situation unable to clear his own name. So therefore, he says, Bhayat, out of fear, Ranat. Ranat means from the battlefield. Uparatam. Uparatam means fled. Out of fear, Arjuna has fled the battlefield. Iti, in this way. Mamsyante, they will conclude, they will think. Who? Maharathaha, all the kings. Why? Because of Duryodhana. Who? Why else? Because of the likes of Duryodhana, Dushasana, whose main job is to spread this rumor. And they will do that very quickly because they have the communication, they have the kingly power and all these things. They have royal emissaries and who can go and spread this rumor. Yesham cha tvam bahumatah. Bahumatah here doesn't mean democracy, okay? Because in Hindi we say bahumat means democracy. No, bahumatah means reputed. You were honorable and reputed. You enjoyed. Bahumatah means you had a reputation. Yesham, for whom you had a reputation previously. For in whose minds you enjoyed a reputation. Now what? Yesham tatvam bahumatah bhutva means having occupied that place of good repute. Having occupied that place of good repute, what happened now? Yes, yasi, you will gain, you will go to. Where, what will you gain? Laghavam. Laghoho bhavam laghavam. You will gain ill repute, smallness. Laghu means small. So Bahu, big. So here you enjoyed a huge reputation. Everest-sized reputation. And now you will have a Everest-sized smallness, infamy, smallness. And this will be your fate as long as you're alive. And even after you die, years and years and years, nobody will name their son Arjun. No one. Nobody will name their son Arjuna. Just like nobody names their son Duryodhana. Nobody names their daughter Kaikeyi. These things we don't do even now. Nobody names their child Ravana either, except in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, there are some, Ravan Das, like this. Like that, some people are there. Because they have a very different view of Ramayana. I think they were brainwashed. So what they have is Ravanayana. And so they have a very different take on it. So they think that Ravana and Sita were very much in love. But before they could get married, this stupid Rama came along and married Sita. This is the problem. And then you can't reason with them. I have tried. I have personally tried with some devout proponents of this theory. I have tried. I said, okay, where would she have met him? They were, after all, separated by an island. True love finds its way. This is the response, okay? And then I will say things like, then I will say, then I will bring into this thing. Then why did he have to? Okay, if they were in love, why did he have to abduct her? She could have just, why this whole why was the abduction was there? Why was it there? Why did he have to kidnap her? That too from the forest. While she was still living in the palace, she could have just said, okay, I'm going to the beauty parlor, and then from there she could have gone off with him. So why did he have to abduct her? No. She had a desire to want to, she said, if I have to live with you, then I want to know how brave you are. Come and kidnap me. So it was all staged. It was all a big stage. It was staged. And then I said to this person, I said, okay, then tell me why, as that airplane called Pushpaka was going on its terrible journey, having abducted goddess Sita, and then why did goddess Sita throw away her chuda, her head ornament, throw away her bangles, throw away her nose stud, throw away her ring? Why did she throw away all her jewels? For that also they have an explanation. Lanka said, the king of Lanka said, Priye, oh beloved, why are you wearing the jewels that Rama brought for you? I will get you much better jewels. Throw this off. Let's have a new beginning. So then I said, okay, how will you have your tea? That's the only kind of conversation. You must not get into any other kind of a conversation. This is what it is. So, other than Lanka, where people may name children Ravana, etc., in all of India, there is not this. There is not this kind of a thing. There in Sri Lanka, there is in Colombo, there is one Ravana Sita Park. They've named a park and a bridge after Ravana and Sita. So they have a different public, popular imagination of how things went. As somebody said, there are many Ramayanas. If Lord Rama is allowing this to be, we should also let it be. That's all. So then the so Bahumataha means you who has enjoyed this kind of a reputation, you who have enjoyed an honorable reputation, you will be condemned, and you will attain smallness. Let us look at the Bhashya. Bhayad Karnadibhyah means Bhayat means out of fear of Karna. Why not Duryodhana? Why Karna? Because Karna had also done some tapas and had as a boon gained one Nagastra, a snake-like missile that was Astra means that which you throw. Shastra means that which you wield, okay? And so like the Gada would be a Shastra, the mace would be a Shastra, and the bow and all these other projectiles would be called Astra. And because it protects while throwing, you protect yourself by throwing this. So this Nagastra had Arjuna's name on it. It was supposed to be a very deadly missile, never missing its mark, and it would go straight for Arjuna's neck. That was what its job was, and then cut him into two, decapitate him. So therefore, this would be a very convenient narrative. Bhayad Karnadibhyah. So out of fear of Karna and other people, including Duryodhana, etc. Karna is highlighted because of this Nagastra. Ranad Yuddhat Uparatam. Ranat means Yuddhat. Uparatam. Uparatam means what? Nivritam. Nivrittam. Nivrittam means have fled. Mamsyante. From man, to think. Chintayishyanti. He just converted it into the fourth conjugation into 10th conjugation. That's also Chintayishyanti. They will think. They will contemplate upon your actions as an act of cowardice and nothing else. Na kripaya iti, and not from a sense of compassion. You did not run away from a sense of compassion. You ran away from a sense of what? Fear. You're a coward. That's what they will think. Tvam maharathaha iti tvam maharathaha. They will think of you. Who are these maharathaha? Duryodhana prabhrittayah. Here he has saved Duryodhana because Maharatha means there is a lot of, what is that called? Power and pelf. So, Duryodhana prabhrittayah. So the likes of Duryodhana, etc. येषां चत्वं दुर्योधनादीनां बहुमतः बहुभिः गुणैः युक्तः इति एवं बहुमतः भूत्वा. So, having enjoyed the reputation of one endowed with many qualities, bahubihi gunaihi yuktaha, having enjoyed the reputation of the one being endowed with many, many valorous qualities, bhutva, having enjoyed that, then having been that, bhutva, punaha yasyasi laghavam laghubhavam. Laghubhavam yasyasi. You will get infamy and you will get smallness, you will gain nothing but insignificance. Insignificance. Then further, as though that was not enough, avachya vadamscha bahun vadishyanti tava ahitaha nindantaha tava samarthyam tato dukkhatarannukim. O Arjuna, if this is not enough to convince you, listen further. People will not just think. Here in verse 35, mamsyante chintayishyanti, they were thinking, they were contemplating, and now that thinking will be put into action. How long will it take for the thought to manifest in the form of action? Not very long at all. So what will they do? The action will be first at the level of speech. Vadamscha, cha means here further, furthermore, kim cha. So, furthermore, more what will happen? Vadamscha vadan bahun vadishyanti. Vadishyanti, they will tell. What will they talk? Bahun vadan, they will talk a lot. Lot of words will be spoken. Who by who? Tava ahitaha. Your ill wishers, not well wishers, ill wishers. Your ill wishers, and this could include the subjects who have now been brainwashed in the aforementioned ways that we talked about. So this includes all the brainwashed subjects, and so all your ill wishers, they will have a lot to say. Oh Lord Krishna, tell us, what will they say? What will they say? Lord Krishna says, no, there is an American, what is that? Gesture. And so you go like this, you zip up the mouth and you throw away the key or something like that. They do. Young people do that. And so like this, Lord Krishna says, no, I can't say what they will say. Why? Because it is avachya. It is all in the form of Sanskrit four-letter words which I cannot utter. I cannot utter them and defile my tongue. I am known as Bhagavan. I too have a reputation to keep up. I'm not going to tell you what they said. But know that it is not worth repeating. It's not worth printing in the book of the Bhagavad Gita, which later on people will read. And it is not something that should be spread. Just know that it is unutterable. Avachya. Curses that are totally unutterable. Vadishyanti, they will tell. Who? Ahitaha. Tava ahitaha vadishyanti. Your ill wishers will speak so contemptuously. It will have so many curses. It is so disturbing to the ears that I just rather not repeat that at all. And I can just tell you generally what the subject matter is. Nindantaha. Nindantaha means decrying. Decrying your skills. Nindantaha means criticizing your skills. Samarthyam, skills. Prowess. Prowess is a better translation. So, critiquing your prowess, completely dissing your prowess. This is what they will do. Tataha, and therefore, tato dukkhatarannu kim, what else? It's a rhetorical question. What else can be more sorrowful than this? What else can be more distressing than this? Speaking contemptuously of your prowess, they will indulge in words which should never be repeated, which are not worth repeating, because they are horrible words, terrible words of contempt, critique, judgment, loath. What can be more distressing than this? And so, Bhashya, avachya vadan. Avyaktavadan. Things that avaktavya-vadan. Avaktavya means not to be spoken. Vadan, words. Cha bahun. Bahun means many. And Adi Shankara translates bahun as aneka prakaran. Aneka prakaran means they will have many adjectives, adverbs, nouns, everything they will have. They will use every single pratyaya, every single suffix in Sanskrit they will use. They will use the agent suffix, trich, runner, the one with the fleer. Yeah, agent suffix means this er, fleer. And then they will use nouns, covered. And then they will use, they will even manage to, they will use adjectives and adverbs, cowardly, all these things they will use. And, they will even make you into a noun. Don't do an Arjuna. Don't do an Arjuna on me like this. They will make you itself into a noun. And then maybe one day in the dictionary you will go down even as a verb. To Arjunofy means to run away in fear. This will be your fate. You will make it in print. You will, make it into the Webster dictionary. But then as a very infamous negative example. So then this is what they will do. So aneka prakaran means there will be adverbs, nouns, everything. Vadishyanti tava ahitaha. Ahitaha means shatravaha. Your enemy, people who are inimical to you, shatrus. Shatravaha is the plural of shatru. Enemies. People who are inimical to you, they will do all that. Nindantaha, kutsayantaha. Kutsayantaha means put you down. Put you down, completely suppress and your good reputation, and then spread rumors about your ill reputation. Tava twadiyam. Twadiyam means the people like you, your people. Twadiyam samarthyam. Samarthyam nivata kavachadi yuddha nimittam. Nivata kavachadi yuddha nimittam. So meaning they'll speak very scornfully of your prowess in fighting, meaning nivata kavachadi yuddha nimittam means how to explain, very nice way to explain this, that nivata kavacha means your armor is so strong, that armor they don to escape the arrows, etc., and missiles. It is so strong that even the air cannot penetrate. It is completely nivata. Even air cannot enter. And even though you were so nicely, so even though you were so nicely, impenetrably armored, you still ran away. You still ran away, even though you had such a wonderful armor. And before the war, you being nivata, you being nivata kavachaha, you being the one who had this kind of an armor was looked up. Oh, look at his armor. There is no chink in his armor. It's amazing. It's impenetrable. This is so wonderful. Where did he get this armor? Everybody wanted one. But now that same armor that was protecting you and your reputation also, as it turns out, is completely, even there's a little irony here, very beautiful irony in Adi Shankara's words. And he says, you know what, even though this armor protected you, even though a single, what should I say, single burst of air could not dare enter your armor, now what all the things are penetrating, all the criticisms of the people are easily penetrating. The arrows of slings and arrows of outrageous criticisms are penetrating this armor so easily, because you have gone, you are not even there to defend yourself. Tataha kashtataram tasmat tato ninda praptehe. So from this, tasmat means other than this, ninda praptehe, this gaining of the criticism, the resultant dukkha. The resultant dukkha means what? Distress. grief from this criticism. Dukkha kim tatah kashtataram dukkham na asti. It's a rhetorical question. So therefore, what is the answer? What is the purport here? That there is the meaning of this question is that there is no grief that is more painful than this. More painful than this, there is no grief. But, oh, Arjuna, there is a way out. Yuddhe punaha kriyamane karnadhibhihi. But in case you now decide to fight with Karna and others, then it is a win-win situation. How is it a win-win situation? Let's find out next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Om Shanti.